Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back to our channel and today's video on people pleasing. Now specifically today I want to talk about one of the fundamental flaws in our motivation or goals in people pleasing, which is the idea within people pleasing that we are able to control what other people think. And straight away, people always try to offer examples about how, well, if I'm nice to this person, then they're more likely to think nice things about me, or they're more likely to feel happy. If I'm mean to this person, they're more likely to be upset or angry with me or disappointed in themselves. And you're saying that these are the kinds of outcomes that you're really trying to control with your people pleasing. You're trying to not upset anybody, not have anybody be upset or hurt, and certainly not for them to, or more importantly, probably not for them to associate that or direct that back to you. But here's what really happens when we perceive that what we do affects other people, how they feel, what they think, and how they show up, their experience in the world. All we are doing at any point when we are people pleasing or influencing other people in any way is we are offering them this data, what we say, how we show up, how we behave in a certain situation. This all just presents as data for them. And then what happens is their mind takes that data and interprets it in whatever way their mind decides to interpret it. There's a middle step here that you have no control of whatsoever. You offer the data, that's what you can do, and then their mind picks up the data and does what it wants to with it. You might take a behavior that you believe is pleasing another person, or at the very least not upsetting another person. But with that behavior that the person perceives, that other person then picks up that behavior, puts it through their interpreting mind. They don't just take in the raw data, they interpret the data and make a story out of it. And the story that they create in their thoughts determines how they feel, whether they are pleased or anything other than that. It is not your people-pleasing behavior that determines the outcome. Your behavior is one piece of this formula, and albeit it's an important piece, but the importance of it can be completely overridden by somebody else's mind, by how they choose to interpret that information. For example, you might do something wildly kind and generous. You might give up everything that you have for this person with the hopes that you will make them feel loved, safe, cared for. But the problem is that no matter how generous or well-intended that act might be, their mind might see you take the data from that act and interpret that as, oh, they think I'm not okay. They think I'm fragile. They think I'm not coping and they feel inadequate. They might take this and think, oh, this person wants something from me. They're trying to manipulate me, and they feel scared or suspicious. Or they might see this generous, well-intended behavior and instead their mind perceives it as too much. They feel greedy and guilty because they're thinking, this person's giving too much for me. There are just 3 examples off the top of my head in a way that somebody could take and interpret the most generous, loving, well-intended behavior and not feel any better and maybe even feel worse from that behavior. So what I want you to see from this is, yes, we have some capacity to influence how people feel and what people think, whether it's about themselves or whether it's about us. We do have some capacity to contribute to that process by offering data, whether it's directly in terms of what we say or whether it's in how we show up and what we do. But my problem with people pleasing, the thing that I want you to recognize, is if all of your efforts are directed and poured into trying to make a person feel a certain way or think a certain way, I want you to think very carefully about how much effort, how much of your resources you're going to put into this, knowing that all you can do is provide this substance, and their minds will then take and do with it whatever their minds will do. Even if you tell them, I am doing this out of pure generosity, I want nothing back, this is all with love from me to you, it's purely because I love you so much and I want you to feel loved. unless their mind wants to adopt that thought, unless they choose to adopt that thought, that your intention, what you're saying is your intention, is true, and that they are capable of believing that, they're not gonna get to feel loved. They're not gonna get to recognize and appreciate this generosity. So yes, we can play a part in making people feel and think a different way about themselves and about us. But my question for you, my people pleasers, is, are you making your choices with a full recognition of the limitations of your people-pleasing behavior? Because we usually only call it people-pleasing because it's coming at an unacceptable cost to us in the first place. And I'm telling you now, the cost doesn't neatly, completely, if at all, translate into any benefit. I hope this one has helped you to detangle your thoughts about people-pleasing that are perpetuating your people-pleasing behaviors, and hopefully steer you towards a more productive, useful, value-aligned path in terms of who you want to please or will pour effort into pleasing and when, if at all. And my beautiful friends, if you know that this is the kind of work that you need to do, you need to get down to this core level about your tendency to people please, then I offer free, no obligation consults. So we can jump on a call for an hour, and you and me, we can talk about how your people pleasing is showing up in your life and why you're unable to decommission this habitual behavior to this point in your life, and try and set you on a better path, or show you how coaching could get you on a better path to finally show up without the involuntary, habitual, impulsive people pleasing. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next one.